Hi, I'm Pat with Asham Oaks Archery, and today we're going to be putting Cat Whisker style bow silencers on this bowstring. So I've got this one clamped to the table where normally I would do it in my bench vise, but some of you don't have a bench vise at home probably, so this is like a plan B. You really want it to where you don't have to hold it. You can use both hands to work on it. So I've got it clamped to the table, got a little bit of padding under it, and what I'm using is these, this is called a quick clamp or a one-handed clamp. If that's not part of your homeowner's DIY kit, it really should be, because these are doggone handy. They'll let you do something by yourself that normally you couldn't do, because this will hold one end of something up for you. So I'm going to put another clamp on here to make sure it doesn't move around. All right, and then we're going to get into putting the silencer on this. So I'm going to zoom in and so you can see a little better. Okay, so we're going to take the Cat Whisker out. I've already got one on down here. So this is the second one. Comes with 2 pieces of string, 1 for each end, and 2 pieces of rubber material, 1 for each end. So we're going to take the piece of rubber material and we're going to fold it in half. And then cut it right in the middle. Okay, so that's ready. I'm going to measure down to where I want to put my silencer. So I'm going to start at the string grooves, and I want to measure down to between 10 and 12 inches. With this bow, I'm going to do 12 inches. So there's 12 inches right there. This is a little pinch clamp that I'm going to use to mark my place, but and also to hold the rubber on here in a minute. But you could use a clothespin for this, or or chip clip would probably work just as well. All right, so now I'm going to take my rubber, get that fingers where I want that to be. And then we're going to wrap that piece around the string. And then we'll take the second piece and go right over the top of that one and also wrap it around the string. Okay, we're going to take our pinch clamp, hold it in place. All right. Now we're going to take it. There's 2 different types of knots we're going to use, actually 3. So there's an overhand knot, which is simply the same knot where you use to begin to tie your shoes, where you just take one piece and put it over the other piece. All right. To start this with, we're going to do an overhand knot, but we're going to wrap it 2 extra times, like that. All right. And then the other knot is a square knot. That's what we'll finish with, and it is an overhand knot. And then you take another overhand knot and go right over the top of that one. And that creates a square knot. And when you pull them together, that creates your square knot. All right. So we're going to take our wax thread. We're going to bring it on the bottom of the string. All right. We're going to tie our overhand knot. We're going to loop it 2 more times. 2, 3. And we'll pull it down into place in the center of the rubber. And we're going to pull it really tight. Tight as you can get it. All right, now we're going to go down to the bottom, underneath it, and tie a single overhand knot. And again, pull it really tight. Tight as you can get it. All right, now we're going to come up to the top, and we're going to tie a square knot. So that first overhand knot, cinch it all the way down, tight. And then the second knot, cinch it down on top of the first one. Pull it tight as you can get it, the whole thing. Tight as you can get it. Pulling it tight, when you got the rubber fibers are laying like this, when you pull it tight, it crimps them tight to the bowstring. And then when you trim it, that's what makes the fiber stand up and gives it that round shape, makes it look like a ball. All right, so now we're going to cut this off just a little bit long, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then we're going to singe the ends of it in. Be careful not to burn your rubber material. Okay, now you can also take and put a drop of super glue right there where your knot is. which I usually do because I'm just kind of an overkill kind of guy. But I'm not going to do it today because I don't want you to stand here and help me watch super glue dry. All right, so we take the clamps off, and then you can either take these fibers and break them apart by, a few at a time, shred them up, and then as you shoot it, they'll continue to separate. Or, and this is my preferred method because it's just kind of cool, is you take a piece of it and you pull it tight, and then you slowly cut it, and those fibers will separate on their own. So we'll take a little piece of it, we'll pull it tight, and then slowly cut it, and it separates on its own. And you want to pull it, instead of pulling this way, you want to pull perpendicular to the string. That way you're not sliding your string up and your silencer up and down the string. See how that separates? And you just continue doing that until you have all of your pieces separated. And just, like I say, just cut slow enough that they separate. If you cut fast, it won't do it. So you just have to slow the cut down. And we go to the other side. And again, you're pulling the material perpendicular to the string. Put some tension on it. Slowly cut. And then you get a silencer. Now you can come back and trim any pieces that are long or shape it up any way you want to, whatever suits your fancy. Make it look a little more uniform. A bigger silencer will obviously absorb more of the sound energy than a smaller silencer. But the downside is the bigger the silencer also absorbs more of the energy being transferred to the arrow. So it is a minute amount, but it is something you want to keep in mind. You don't want to string up like 3 different silencers on here. You start getting into this damaging the speed of your bow. So that is a string silencer right there.